Did you know, according to foodsafety.gov, 1 in 6 Americans could get sick from food poisoning this year? Mild symptoms of food poisoning can be abdominal pain, nausea, and vomiting. Food poisoning can have long term health consequences such as kidney failure from some kinds of E. coli, chronic arthritis from salmonella, brain and nerve damage from listeria, and can even cause death. Approximately 3,000 people die a year of illnesses associated with food poisoning. Don't be one of the 100,000 Americans sent to the hospital this year. We can give you and your family helpful tips in order to prevent you and your family from obtaining foodborne illnesses.
When purchasing your food from the store, make sure to follow these helpful tips. Purchase food from trustworthy stores. Make sure jars are closed and sealed and are unbroken and that the safety button on the jar lid has not popped. Check to see that the cans are not rusted or dented or bulging. Make sure food packaging is secure. Select foods below the frost line in the freezer and make sure frozen foods are frozen solid and do not contain frost or ice crystals. Always check the expiration dates. Most foods have expiration dates that are sell by, use by, or best by to give you a time frame to use the food by. Go. There are 4 easy steps to follow when it comes to food safety at home. First step is clean. Foodborne illness bacteria can be in many places in your kitchen. This is why one should follow this step to keep your family and yourself safe. Wash your hands for 20 seconds with soap and running water. Make sure to run hands together in a lather and scrub the backs of your hands, between your fingers, and under running water. Dry your hands using a clean towel. Make sure you do this before eating food, during, and after preparing food, especially after handling uncooked eggs, raw meat, poultry, seafood, or their juices.
Wash surfaces and utensils after each use. This prevents bacteria spreading throughout the kitchen. Wash your cutting boards, dishes, and utensils and countertops with hot soapy water after preparing each food item and before you go on to the next item. Wipe up your kitchen surfaces and spills with clean cloths or paper towels. Separate is our next step. This step is very important so you do not cross-contaminate your foods. Make sure to use separate cutting boards and places for your produce and meat, poultry, and seafood and eggs. Here are some simple tips to prevent cross-contamination. Use one cutting board for fresh produce and one for raw meat, poultry, and seafood. Make sure to wash your plates, utensils, and cutting boards that hold these raw meats, poultry, seafood, or eggs before using them again. Once a cutting board gets excessively worn or develops hard to clean grooves, consider replacing it. At the store, make sure to separate raw meats and fish in the bags to keep the juices from dripping on other foods. In your fridge, you should keep your meat, poultry, and seafood and eggs separate from all the other foods. Keep the eggs in the original carton and store them in the main compartment of the refrigerator, not in the door. Place your raw meat, poultry, and seafood in containers and sealed plastic bags to prevent their juices from dripping or leaking onto other foods. If you're not planning to use these foods within a few days, freeze them instead.
Our next step is cook. Many people think that their food is done by looking at the color or texture. This is an unsafe way to determine if your food is cooked properly. Bacteria in our food multiplies quickest between 40 degrees and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Use a food thermometer to help determine whether your food is done. Place the food thermometer in the thickest part of the food, making sure not to touch bone, fat, or gristle. Wait the amount of time recommended for your type of thermometer. Compare your thermometer reading to the minimum cooking temperatures chart located at foodsafety.gov to be sure it's reached its safe temperature. Some foods need 3 minutes of resting time after cooking to make sure that harmful germs are killed. Check the minimum cooking temperatures chart located at foodsafety.gov. Clean your thermometer after every use with hot soapy water.
Our last step is chill. Make sure to refrigerate your food as soon as possible. Illness-causing bacteria can grow in perishable foods within 2 hours unless you refrigerate them, in an hour at 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Cold temperatures slow the growth of illness-causing bacteria, so it is important to chill your food. Make sure your fridge and freezer are cooled to the right temperatures. Your fridge should be between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and your freezer should be 0 degrees or below. To make sure To properly chill your food, make sure to pack your refrigerator the proper way. To do this, cold air must be allowed to circulate in your fridge, so don't overstuff your fridge. Remember to store leftovers within 2 hours. Do not thaw or marinate food on the counter. This is a very risky way to get you and your family sick. Bacteria can multiply quickly at a room temperature. So here are some easy tips to thaw your food safely. There are different ways to thaw your food. Take your food out of the freezer and place it on a pan or a plate to catch any juices that are leaking. So thaw your food in the refrigerator. Thaw your food in cold water. Thaw it in the microwave or cook without thawing. To marinate food safely, always marinate in the refrigerator. Let's keep ourselves, family, and friends safe from foodborne illnesses. Educate yourself on a safe and healthy lifestyle by visiting these websites provided by our government. They are here to help. Visit sites such as www.foodsafety.gov, www.fightback.org, FIGHTBAC, or www.cdc.gov for great tips or if you have any doubts or questions. It is important that we use credible resources when dealing with health and safety. Attaining the right information is vital for you and for your loved ones.